Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Bill is off today. A surge in fentanyl-related overdose deaths in Wisconsin is being called a public health crisis. That's according to a report released today by a nonpartisan research group. In a First Alert update, Brittany Schmidt breaks down the new report as well as a new warning from local law enforcement.
A recent study released by Forward Analytics suggests Wisconsin is in the middle of a fentanyl epidemic.
This is a drug that's hitting people in the prime of their life.
Director Dale Knapp analyzed data from the State Health Department, CDC, and Drug Enforcement Agency. He concluded fentanyl-related overdose deaths is the #1 killer of Wisconsinites ages 25 to 54.
And it's #1 by a long shot.
From 2015 to 2021, overdose deaths associated with synthetic opioids, mostly fentanyl, increased more than 1,000%, claiming more than 4,300 lives.
Because this is hitting that 25 to 54-year-old age group so hard, that 4,300 deaths translates to almost 160,000 potential years of life lost. And if we add in the preliminary numbers, which aren't final yet for 2022, we're well over 200,000 and growing. That to me is the really troubling number.
Just this week, an emergency PSA from the Winnebago County's medical examiner warns of a spike in overdose deaths related to counterfeit pills containing lethal doses of fentanyl. So far this year, the county says 86% of its confirmed overdose deaths are linked to fentanyl. Another 7 are pending. The sheriff's office adds, quote, "More tragically, the victims are younger," end quote. Knapp says drug dealers quickly realized it's cheaper to use illegally produced fentanyl to create fake pills like OxyContin, Percocet, and Adderall. Detection is difficult because fentanyl is odorless and colorless.
And a very, very small amount is enough to kill a person.
Knapp says some of the recent prescription drug shortages is already sending some people to the streets.
That's already increasing.
He says now is the time to recognize the epidemic and understand it's a pervasive problem throughout Wisconsin.
You know, it's something that people shouldn't just shrug off because we're not seeing that here yet, because more than likely it's coming to your community.
You can see that whole report online at our website, but in that report, Knapp also talks about ways to curb the fentanyl epidemic, including, those fentanyl testing strips we've done stories on, the increased availability of Narcan as well. He also says that education is key. So he suggests that parents learn like the street names of illicit drugs, of fentanyl, because if you hear your kids talking about it, you might be able to recognize it immediately. And so we have some of those names on our website as well.
A great learning tool.
Truly.
Just to get ahead of this if we ever can. Thanks, Brittany.